Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Cam.
Call the buzzer. Call.
Take him back! Take him out!
First up, we head to Orlando, Florida. The defendant is 39-year-old Jeremy DeWitt. He's been charged with impersonating a police officer. DeWitt runs a company that provides private security escorts during funeral processions.
I'll get the light before the bridge, you get the light after the bridge.
It's a legitimate business that DeWitt is authorized to operate.
Get to me, get to me, get to me.
What he's not authorized to do is direct traffic.
Go past me! Go past me! Repo, take this intersection and keep this under control.
Weave through traffic at illegal speeds.
There's still 110 down this road.
Or, most notably, pull over
Hey! Pull over! Pull over!
and confront drivers while dressed somewhat like a real officer.
What are you doing? What the does it look like I'm doing, dumb? Get the over before you find out.
Stop pretending you're a police officer.
Listen, I know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. What you need to do is figure it the out before you start talking.
With such blatant behavior, the local media gets wind of what DeWitt is up to. Before long, he appears on the radar of the real police. And in 2019, after police observed him breaking traffic laws, he's arrested while working a funeral.
Who is this guy? Oh, that's Jeremy right there?
When officers questioned DeWitt about the registration of his motorcycle, which comes up as stolen, he becomes livid.
Sergeant, my vehicle's not stolen, Sergeant. I can tell you right now, everything's being videotaped on my body cam, Sergeant. I have the registration for the vehicle, Sergeant.
Officers search DeWitt and find an arsenal of police gear, including handcuffs, mace, and a baton.
Because the Honda was stolen, and we got the tag back from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and then we registered it to that motorcycle.
But as DeWitt loudly attempts to explain the situation, officers have had enough.
Just chill. If it's an issue, we'll figure it out. But you screaming and yelling isn't going to change that.
Well,
Just sit tight.
okay.
DeWitt's charged with impersonating an officer and released on bond. But while out on bond, police get a warrant for DeWitt's own pullovers.
Get the over!
And additional confrontation with drivers DeWitt considers interfering in his escorting a funeral procession.
Hi! How are you today?
Good, how are you?
You must have missed that it's 45 through there, and then you use the turning lane to cut through traffic. I understand you're in a nice car and everything, but let's be a little more mature the way you drive. Let's drive the right way then.
Are you a cop?
Don't worry about what I am, because I'm a state agent, so what you need to do is make sure you're doing the right thing, boy.
The driver pulls away. It doesn't take too long for DeWitt to catch up.
Yeah.
That's real nice.
Yeah, I know.
Real professional.
The way you almost hit me, boy, is the way it's professional, bitch ass.
You're not a cop.
You want to fight?
Violating the rule, too.
How's that?
You've been acting like you're stopping me.
I didn't pull you over. Did I make a traffic on you, boy? Come on, let's go, bitch.
DeWitt's arrested again and brought before the judge with 2 more charges of impersonating an officer.
You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for falsely impersonating an officer.
Once again, is released on bond.
About the two cases.
Turns out DeWitt has quite a history of playing cop. He was convicted of the same charge back in 2001. But DeWitt can't seem to stay out of trouble. And after multiple arrests for impersonating an officer, he's back in court again.
Your name, sir? I'm sorry, Jeremy Charles DeWitt, Your Honor.
This time he's not here for being a fake police officer, but for failing to register a vehicle as a very real sex offender. In 2005, DeWitt was convicted of lewd or lascivious battery involving a victim between 12 and 15 years old.
Now, Mr. DeWitt, you're here today because you're arrested on an arrest warrant for a sex offender violation, failing to register as required. You're also out on bond on 5 charges of falsely impersonating an officer.
The state is releasing you bonds be revoked on his prior cases, giving the new law violation, continued pattern of criminal activity, and he also poses a flight risk.
The prosecution again asks that his bond be revoked. But once again, DeWitt catches a break.
No, I'm going to leave the bonds in place.
As for his remaining impersonation charges, until his trial begins, DeWitt remains free on bond. Next, we're in Placerville, California, for the arraignment of 39-year-old Asher Edwards.
Hello, Judge.
Good afternoon, sir.
Edwards' demeanor may seem pleasant, but just a few days earlier, his alleged behavior was anything but. He was charged with making terrorist threats, assault with a deadly weapon, day police standoff.
Mr. Edwards, this is the time and place set for your arraignment. Do you consent to have an arraignment by video conference?
Sir, is this an Maritime Admiralty Law courtroom that we're processing me through?
No, it's not.
Edwards considers himself a sovereign citizen who lives as a free man, as they like to say, under common law as established by the Founding Fathers. Maritime Admiralty law that he's referencing is the law of the sea and international commerce, a body of law that sovereign citizens believe to be the foundation of the country's modern legal system, which they reject.
This is not a Maritime Admiralty Law courtroom. I believe so.
No.
Absolutely, it is. All courtrooms in this country are Maritime Admiralty Law courtrooms that process people, aren't they?
No, sir.
That's false information. Well, either way, this courtroom is trying to process me as state property. You see this fictitious name statement? Asher Edwards spelled in all capital letters? This is not my name.
Edwards is referring to another sovereign belief that beginning at birth, one is issued a government identity, meaning one's name is spelled in all capital letters, such as on a birth certificate or social security card, and that doesn't represent one's true or free self.
This name was issued to me without my consent, and you cannot legally process me through this courtroom without this name in all capital letters that was issued without my consent. My name is spelled Asher Edwards, first capital, all lowercase, Edwards, first capital, all lowercase, and this is the birth name given to me by my parents, protected by the Constitution of the United States.
Even as Edwards grows louder and more animated, the judge appears to take it all in stride and even allows the defendant to finish his rant.
Therefore, it is illegal for you to process me through this courtroom, so you guys have to figure out something else to do with it.
But this judge is all business, so figuring out something else to do with Edwards is not in his plans.
Court will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Will show time is not waived. We'll set this matter for pre-preliminary hearing within the statutory period.
And I would like to see the gun. It said I had a gun. I've never had a gun.
As Edwards continues his rant about the alleged gun, the judge reaches for his own weapon of choice, the mute button.
They're alive.
Do not speak while I am speaking, sir.
Edwards continues to plead his case, but to no avail.
Court will set bail in the amount of $72,500. Next matter.
Asher Edwards would later be... Now we head to the Otero County Courthouse in Roswell, New Mexico, for the criminal trial of Michael Cox, Jr. Authorities say Cox molested a young child. The two were alone watching television. He was charged with criminal sexual contact of a minor under the age of 13. With the trial now concluded and Cox found guilty, Judge Jerry Ritter Jr. calls a bench conference with attorneys from both sides. As Deputy DA Scott Key, the man who just helped convict Cox, walks back to his seat, Cox unleashes his frustration. Cox lunges at Key, who makes a quick move before crashing into the podium. He takes a swing at Key as he hits the ground. Officer Katia Smith enters the courtroom just in time to witness the ruckus. She acts swiftly and attempts to restrain Cox. Key gets back on his feet and makes a run at Cox. But the melee only intensifies as a man from the gallery joins the fray. With his courtroom engulfed in chaos, Judge Ritter attempts to take control. He leaves the bench and orders the room to be immediately cleared. With the confrontation now over, Key pulls himself together. He takes a moment to fix his hair and then straightens up the area, even putting a trash can back in place while Cox is cuffed and led away. Order is finally restored. Michael Cox Jr. received 18 years for criminal sexual contact with a minor. And for his ill-advised attack on Key, the newly convicted felon picked up an additional 6 years for felony battery on a peace officer and misdemeanor aggravated battery. Both sentences will run consecutively.
Attorney Robert Abrams, license 37950, appearing pro se.
Next, we're in Denver, Colorado, for the deposition of attorney Robert Abrams. Abrams' firm was added as a defendant alongside their client in a lawsuit between two former business partners and are being sued for fraud, conspiracy, and aiding and abetting a criminal by the plaintiff.
Good morning, Mr. Abrams. Do you understand why you've been asked to give your deposition today?
No.
To say tensions are high in the room would be an understatement. Asking the questions off camera is the plaintiff's lawyer, Tom.
Are you aware that your firm, Abrams & Associates, is a defendant in a lawsuit that's going to trial next month?
Yes.
Have you had your deposition taken before?
I think so.
When have you had your deposition taken before?
I don't recall.
How many times?
I don't recall.
You're sitting here today under oath. You have no idea whether you've been deposed before?
I've answered that question. Object to form, move on.
Object to form is a quick way to object during a deposition and, in effect, ask the attorney to clarify the question.
Have you been deposed?
Object to form. Object to form. Move to certify the question. If you feel that I haven't answered, then you can move for a sanction.
We're going to go ahead and stop the deposition at this point and dial the special master. Good morning. Yes, we are in the middle of a deposition this morning.
But when the special master isn't available, plaintiff's attorney Tom Werge asks the same question again.
Mr. Abrams, have you had your deposition taken before?
And gets the same answer.
Object to form.
Asked and answered, move on.
You need to answer the question.
The question was answered. Excuse me, have her read it back.
Yep. Mr. Abrams, this is not your deposition.
Please don't harass me.
I'm not harassing you.
For sanctions
I'm
against
asking
you.
to
If you're not
answer
going
the
to
question.
allow
He just
for-
answered the question.
As the heated back and forth continues, Abrams, who is a witness, begins making his own objections, which a witness is not allowed to do during a deposition.
I'm going to raise, move to strike, find it objectionable, and then move for sanctions for harassment under Rule 30D. You can look it up if you don't know it.
Mr. Abrams, I feel quite confident that if any sanctions are entered in this matter, it's going to be against you.
Objective.
For continuing to obstruct and not answer any of my questions.
Objective
You
form.
cannot object.
I just did.
You cannot.
I just did. I'm a lawyer. I'm a licensed, unblemished member of the bar. Unblemished. If you laugh at me one more time, I'm going to walk out.
We're going to move for 30D3 sanctions.
We're going to move for harassment sanctions against you right now.
Things only get worse when the arguments take a personal turn.
We're going to be here for a long time today if you do not answer my questions. I can't even get through my initial questions
That's
because
your-
you are being so obstructionist.
That's
today.
because you're a weak lawyer. You have us down here for fraud. Ask us fraud questions.
Okay, let's ask a couple more questions. Mr. Abrams, what are the pills that you just took?
Object to form.
None of your business. None of privilege.
What are those other pills?
Object to form. Object to privilege.
None of your business. But I can tell you that if you took some of these, they would help get some of your weight off. I can tell you that.
Oh, you're referring to when you called fat when you walked in here.
Object to
right?
form.
If you want to raise your weight problem, Mr. Ward,
I am going to end this deposition now.
Okay.
Mr. Abrams, we're going to continue it while we seek intervention of the special master.
Right.
It's clear that you are not here to answer any questions today. We are going to move for sanctions against you and your firm for your conduct during this deposition, and we will take that up with the special master.
And we'll represent your conduct during this deposition.
Please do.
After reviewing the transcripts from the deposition, the special master issued an order for sanctions against Abram. His behavior during the deposition, along with other misconduct in the case, would ultimately earn Abrams a 9-month license suspension.
You have no evidence. Put something in front of me and we'll answer the questions. You have nothing.
I have a defendant who has been in your all's jail for 3 days, who is standing in front of me completely pantsless. What the hell is going on?
That's a good question. We're in Louisville, Kentucky, in the courtroom of District Court Judge Amber Wolf. Standing behind the podium is defendant Siobhan Salazar. Salazar is being sentenced after failing to attend a first-time offenders educational program after pleading guilty to shoplifting.
Do you have other charges? Have you ever picked up any other charges?
Judge Wolf seems confused. Looking at Salazar's case file, the state has recommended a sentence of 75 days in jail, which Judge Wolf believes is a little steep for the offense.
Okay, I'm not accepting this sentence. That's ridiculous. No. I'm sentencing you to a... How long have you been in custody?
Well, they picked me up in Fayette Sunday morning.
You have no charges anywhere.
Salazar's been held in jail on a minor charge, but that's not the real issue here.
The jail would also refuse to give her pants and any kind of hygiene products that she needed.
Pants? What?
From the judge's vantage point, she can't see that Salazar's long t-shirt appears to be the only thing covering her bottom half.
I've been wearing this since I came in with this on Sunday.
Excuse me? This is outrageous. Is this for real?
Demanding an immediate answer for what's going on, the judge calls the jail herself.
I'm actually calling to talk to you, Director Bolton, or anyone who can come to my courtroom and tell me why there is a female defendant standing in front of me with no pants on.
As the judge waits for an explanation, she shifts her attention back to the defendant.
I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm very sorry.
Did you want to sit in the back, too?
Yeah, let's take her back.
Salazar is removed from the courtroom.
What is this? Am I in the Twilight Zone? I have a defendant who has been in your all's jail for 3 days, who is standing in front of me completely pantsless, has no pants on. She has requested pants for 3 days and has been denied pants for 3 days. She has no pants and she is in court. And she has also been denied feminine hygiene products. What the hell is going on? I am holding her here until she is dressed appropriately to go back to the jail. This is outrageous.
Minutes later, that jail deputy director hand delivers an inmate uniform to the courtroom.
She's clothed now, is what you're telling me, so I can bring her back out here.
Now wearing a yellow jumpsuit, Siobhan Salazar is brought back into the courtroom.
Again, I want to extend my deepest apologies to you for the way that you've been treated while you've been in our jail. This is not normal.
But more than just offering an apology, Judge Wolf goes a step further.
I'm changing your sentence to $100 fine, credit time served for that.
The jail would later issue a statement that Judge Wolf wasn't provided all the facts, and that Salazar actually had athletic shorts on under her t-shirt. They also maintained they followed proper protocol, stating inmates are held in street clothes for up to 72 hours, and that feminine hygiene products were, quote, abundant and available to all female inmates. That's all for this edition of Court Cam. I'm Dan Abrams. Thanks for watching.